Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Sounds great. Hope you watched, listened, and read Linda's Sabbath School lesson last week. Her insights into the 6 angels' messages was phenomenal. I hope if you didn't, please know that it's available at comeandreason.com. Thanks to Dean and his team, everybody that's involved in making this happen so that it's available, both video, audio, podcast. The notes are all available. This makes it available for those of us who are so hungry to learn all across the world. So we're really grateful. And we're also grateful to Tim and Christy, who are currently traveling right now. Their commitment to this ministry, giving of themselves to write and teach and travel far and wide to share the really, really good news about God. Let's bow our heads for prayer. May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my Redeemer. Amen. What is the deal with all this rain? I read on the last day, actually on the first day of March, looking back at February, we had broken 11.2 inches of rain in the month of February alone. Rain also makes me think of the power of water to change geography. The most common thing we think about is erosion, starting in the rocks, carving through with erosion, breaking down, ultimately getting larger and larger to where we actually create great gorges around rivers, large rivers. And I kind of think about that time that it takes, or the effort or the power that water has to take these little etches in the rock and then ultimately over time to create larger and larger bodies of water. Considering that with the mind and ideas, how long does it take for new evidence to etch through this geography in our minds? Well, while the well-worn traditional ways of looking things have already created these great gorges, that it's just so easy to travel down the old traditional, maybe more well-worn ways. But we're working in our class here, I believe so, in Sabbath School preparation. This floods our mind with new ideas, new evidences, so that we can actually take these seemingly tiny little puddles and then create new established grooves in our minds. The remedy is another way that I find to kind of see the landscape or the waterscape, so to speak, with kind of the dots connected, or the filled in details, so that we can kind of see, oh yeah, we kind of talked about it being kind of the answer key, or it's kind of laid out for us, and it helps us again with that process of creating new ways of the information to groove in our brain. Someone might say, when it comes to Sabbath School prep or for tackling Revelation, why not just read one author and be done with it? Just present those ideas. Why not just do, it's so much simpler. I think, yeah, absolutely. Simpler, easier, certainly less time consuming than what I've attempted to do. But I'd say that not being a theologian by any stretch, but instead a seeking believer trying to make sense of Revelation, I owe it to myself, I owe it to God, and I owe it to you to read widely and to at least try to distill the information down to manageable bites. This quarter we have in this Bible study guide two of the two foremost Adventist theologians on the subject of Revelation, represented both in the core text and the teacher's notes. As I mentioned, we can channel Tim through the reading of the remedy. For alternative views, I will include some links in the notes to some articles that I found. One, Dave Larson is a professor of religion out at Loma Linda University Health, and he shared that there's a bevy of new theologians, or new theologians with new ideas, new perspectives, that are writing as well. And Sigve Tonstad is one of he's an MD, PhD, and I somehow am drawn to these theologian people who also have training as physicians. Maybe it's because we think alike, but and I'll provide links to these authors. With this in mind, I'd like to introduce the concept of differential diagnosis.